Hello guys and welcome back to another episode. This time it's 003 and yeah, thank you very much for the support over the last two episodes. It's been great. Been great fun as well, hasn't it, Aaron?
Yeah, it has been. You have to excuse us both. We are both bunged up with hay fever today. I think I'm a little bit worse than you are.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I sound a bit nasally, I do apologise.
So yeah,
damn hay fever.
With that, let's introduce our guest for today's show.
Yes, let's.
And yeah, I've been looking forward to having this guest for quite a while. More so because he's a big motorsport fan. So without further ado, let's introduce him.
Alex D'Amore, come on down. Woo, and the crowd goes wild. Hello, buddy.
How you doing, fella? You alright?
Nice to see you again.
So yeah,
welcome.
Yeah, so for the guys that don't know who Alex is, please
intro.
So
yeah, Alex Big Performance Reviews. Make sure you follow me. I think they'll give you links. Hopefully. Yeah, got that down. Yeah, if you like me, that is obviously. Basically, kind of massive motorsport fan. Kind of started karting from around 17, 18 years of age. Actually, probably a little bit before then, and that's how I kind of got into motorsport. And then slowly but surely went into kind of local leagues and racing and stuff like that in karts. Then went to kind of national Rotex Max racing, and then basically that must have been 19 years, 20 years of age, and then realised I couldn't afford championship racing because it was about £1,100 to £1,500 for one meeting. And at 19, 20 years of age, I couldn't really afford it. So. And actually at that age I just started finding cars as well, and I started kind of modifying cars, getting into the modified car scene. And then I dabbled with a little bit of naughty street racing. I was a bit of a street racer.
Fast and furious.
Yeah, which is not... I was one of these guys that's really... I was not a closet street racer, but it's a weird one. I was into modified cars, but I never liked the weird boy racer scene. So I've got a really quite a funny story how I used to like street race. I used to know of where they used to street race down near me, and I used to modify my car up really heavily, and people knew of my car that was quite quick at the time. It was a Civic Type R, actually, 336 horsepower, and this was a long time ago.
What was this, an EP3?
EP3, so it was mental. People like back then, it was like, I'm talking 9-10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was like one of the fastest front wheel drive cars in the UK, and actually I used to drag race it at Sandpoint. And everyone knew about this car, this red car that everyone sees around like Suffolk. But you wouldn't see it parked up. Like all I used to do is I used to go where they street race. I used to flash people out to come race me, and it basically had nitrous. It had 100 brake horsepower kit and nitrous on a wet kit on a progressive controller. I used to dial in and set up the controller.
So where was that, on the steering wheel, or was it on the throttle?
No, it had a really cool little controller. And
so was it introduced through the throttle?
It was introduced through the throttle, wet kit, and then you could dial it in a certain way. And I used to program it all up so it almost worked like a bit like boost by gear on the turbo, coming progressively, so it weren't like a really crazy hit. But the difference in speed from it being a near 240 horsepower NA to 340 is unbelievable. So I used to flash people out and used to race them, and I was notorious for kind of racing people, and they're like this mysterious car. No one knew about me, I never stopped, but I used to race and beat most or nearly everything I used to race, which was cool. And then, basically through modified cars slowly but surely, always was into racing, started going to racing, watching racing and stuff like that. And I always said to myself, I really want to race one day, but financially it's just unfeasible really, because it's so expensive. And then I probably only just, the last 2.5, 3 years, got to a point financially where I can afford it, started building a car. Funny enough, it was an EP3, this is after having lots of different cars. Built an EP3 to go racing, GT250 championship in Nippon, and won my championship 2 years in a row, which is awesome.
Yeah, pretty good, yeah.
So yeah, and actually the car's for sale now, funny enough, but because I've kind of built a different car. I built a Ford, a KA, an Enduro KA for the MSP Championship. Been doing that, and that's just so much fun. I've done a bit of C1 24-hour racing as well, so that's introduced me to that kind of budget racing, but it's not really budget racing, but kind of. It's the low end of racing in general, but it's still very expensive.
It's probably when they say budget, it's the most attainable way to get into motor racing.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, if you distribute the cost between 3 or 4 people, which you can even have up to 6 in some races.
Because I mean, with like the C1 and Enduro KA, because they're endurance type races, the money that you're spending is actually, if you weigh out it goes a long way.
Yeah, definitely. If you work out the cost per lap or per 15 minutes, it's like so much cheaper than any form of other race.
So for the guys that are watching, how much do you typically spend on a race weekend? Just in like Enduro KO.
So the race fee vary from about £850 to £1,400 for the race fee alone.
Because obviously it depends on the club, like the 750 Motor Club.
So it's all MSV. But with tyres and kind of
fuel. Do MSV run Enduro?
MSV, it's an MSV championship. It's a really properly run championship. It's really, really good. Very professionally run. But
so I imagine obviously all the circuits are MSV circuits.
Most of the circuits are MSV circuits. They can go to ones that are not necessarily MSV, but although I think you're right. I think they are all MSV. I know the ones that I'm racing at, but we kind of go. They range from a 5-hour race up to a 12-hour race, which is my next race as it happens. That's at Snetterton in 2 weeks' time actually. So it might be different, obviously, depending on when you watch it. It might be like imminent, but it's basically June the 15th and 16th.
Okay.
It will go through the night a little bit, but not much. We qualify on a Saturday and we race on the Sunday.
So what time does it start?
It starts, funny enough, they've just brought out the kind of timetable, and it's a weird one. They're going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning, finish at 9 o'clock at night. So, you're just going to get a little bit of light, but it's a bit different to C1s I've been racing in, and they really do go through the night, and they are very tiring to kind of drive 24 hours, obviously distributed between 3 or 4 people, etc. But I created my own team in Enduroka. We badged it up and decaled it up as peak performance reviews, and got myself, Francois, who's a new driver. We've had petrol pairs as well. So he's raced our first race with us. He's going to race at Alton with us as well.
So is he just doing it by what meetings he can do?
Yeah, basically. Pete is quite busy, so he's kind of coming as and when he can. Probably financial as well. Obviously, costs quite a bit of money. But we're also kind of encouraging guest drives. So my idea was to kind of get vloggers who are kind of new to kind of racing in, but at the same time trying to vet them to some extent, because I am a very competitive person, so I don't want someone to come in overly and not doing a job or crash the car. Because it's your little baby, But we've got some guest drivers, really awesome guest drivers. I mean, Petra Peg to some extent was one. We've got Michelle Westby, who's going to be joining us for Brands. If you don't know who she is, she's a awesome kind of cool drift chick, and she's a really nice lass as well, actually. And then we've also got a TCR UK driver who's a friend of mine as well, so Lewis Kent. He's local to Brands, and he's going to join us for Brands for the last round. Okay. So we're going to have a good chance of going for the podium. But we try and field out a good kind of team.
Yeah, it's good because for them sort of guys as well, I imagine in TCR they're very strict on where they can test and what they can do.
Well, funny enough, I've raced with Lewis Kent actually in C1s, and he loves it. He'll be vocal about it being as good, as much fun as him driving the TCR UK. And it's just pretty.
These C1s got like 80 brake horsepower.
And then these TCR UK cars got like 400 horsepower, space frame chassis, weigh 1,000 kilograms. They're nearly as fast as a touring car, and you've got someone saying it's as fun, that he has as much fun, if not more fun, in a little C1 or an Enduro KA race car as a TCR UK car. Exactly, that kind of puts the proof in the pudding to me as to how good these cars are. Or how much fun they are, should I say. They're not quick, but they still feel quick when you're going around. But it's just the fun factor.
And it's good to have like professional-ish drivers going into something like that. It keeps it actually fun, and it puts like a competitive edge to it as well.
The championship's a very controlled championship. It seems as though that is the case because the differential in speed between the worst and the quickest. I shouldn't say worst. The last place.
Slowest. Slowest.
It's not bad. So the quality is actually seems quite high, and the racing's been really good. I've gone into C1 championship. Yes, admittedly, there's more people racing, but for me, C1's is a little bit more carnage, and
I watched the last round.
Silverstone was mad the other day.
People rolling their cars.
Silverstone was just scary, and I don't mind that. I'm quite.
Obviously, I'd imagine it's a big circuit, quite wide. So when you're going into corners, have you got like 4 or 5 corners?
I think Silverstone thankfully is wide, because there would have been even more. If it was a short circuit and people were driving like that the other day, it would have been. I don't know how many people would have finished. It is so dangerous, but.
No, so what in terms of like from the lowest to the highest? what's the difference in times? Is there...
Silverstone and C1s was massive actually. The differential in time, certainly from qualification, was as big as 10 seconds from a slow driver to a very fast driver.
And how did it look from like pole to people and like how many was it?
Yeah, do you know what? The pole to about 30th, where we ended up coming,
is it like within a second?
Was within a second or two. I think, which actually over a big circuit, Silverstone is actually quite a small differential, although KA's was even smaller.
Yeah.
I think there was the top 8, I qualified 8th, which I weren't happy with actually. I normally like to be close to that, but I think it was a new championship, getting used to it, and I think there was things that we could have done better, and we now know setup wise, and there's not much you can do setup wise, it's just pressure.
We now can't do any like camber adjustment.
No, it's really the KAs, the C1s you can shim the rear a little bit, but up to a limit of what they allow, the club allow.
Yeah.
The Enduroka they limit it. Although I think it's the same as other championships. It looks as though some people was trying to manipulate potentially things.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's allegedly, but we're kind of doing everything to the book, so it's very controlled, and the differential was I think it was less than a second between 8th and 1st, and I think we'll go a lot quicker now. We know and understand the car and how it reacts to pressure changes now, so we've done a little bit more testing and shakedowns with the car.
So they're going to be on a grid, isn't it?
Yes, we don't know for sure, but there's about 36 registered, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's going to be filled up. So hopefully 36 to maybe even 40 cars. 12-hour endurance race over 2 days. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be really good. Quali on the Saturday, race on the Sunday. I can't wait. And it's my local circuit. We did some testing, and we kind of know of some times from the other cars, and I think we're very quick. We know we're very quick.
Yeah.
So we should be doing all right.
So who's driving on Snet round?
So we had someone pull out really not long ago, which was a right bugger. So it's myself and Francois Hearn, we're the two drivers that are basically doing every single round. Me and Francois, every single round. And then we've got actually a guest driver, which is a guy called Chris Deere. He's actually a very seasoned C1 racer, and he's always at the sharp end. So he's not testing, which is a bit of a bugger, so he's going to have to learn the car quick, but he will take to it quite well, because C1's a funny old car to drive, so if he can drive it fast, he'll be fine with the KA, I think. So we should hopefully be up the sharper end. We had some problems last round.
So with the strategy, is there much strategy into it? Because people think, it's only a KO, it's only a C1. Do you need much strategy?
It's controlled, but definitely there is strategy. I think within reason, for the amount of people you've got racing, there is a set amount of kind of driver changes you have to have. So they try and do it on purpose to still avoid it being too technical on the differential between a team from a team. So it ends up, unless you've got problems, it should be really, really tight. So it's just a case of really getting your fuel stops right and knowing when you can come in. Realistically, you try and go as far as you can on the.
Because you have when you do come in for a driver change, is there like a time that you have to stay there?
No, you can. There's no minimum, there's no maximum, so you can go as quick as you want. But realistically, the good thing about an endurance race like that, and quite a controlled endurance race like that, is you are dictated about as to how fast that fuel can kind of get rid of its contents, really. So there's only so much you can kind of do, I think. So it's good. So realistically, it ends up being, unless you've got problems, which that's the curveball of an endurance race, problems and your fuel changes dictate probably where you're going to come, and ultimately your race pace. But I don't want to say slow and steady wins the race, but you do have to factor in being reasonably careful. Because if you have a problem in endurance race and you clatter into someone, you can lose laps, and the moment you lose laps, you're gonna struggle to come up in the top spot. So
coming back to obviously what I said about price of each meeting.
So I reckon realistically you're looking at £1,500 to £2,200 per race.
Wow.
That would cover, it's a bit more than some people think. So that's going to be your race fee, your tyres, your fuel, transport, insurance.
To me that's not bad.
Because
the level of motorsport that my family and I'm in. That was another
million%. For me, in comparison to my Nippon racing, it's actually more money. For the race duration, the differential
as we said before,
far better on the Enduro KA, but realistically it is a step up in terms
and
of how much. Is there
more so the C1, but with KA, is there like big teams there, or is it kind of?
Yeah, you've still got some pretty professional teams. To be honest with you, I reckon we had 26 for the first race, and I reckon 20 of those, maybe even more, are very seasoned racers that typically have been racing for anything from 6 to 15 years, and the quality is actually really, really high. A lot of guys have been racing for a long, long time, and it's kind of it looks as though there's going to be more and more teams and even pros that are wanting to get involved in it, as they have with the C1s, because they know it's almost like, for a pro, it's a good way to let off steam and have fun and not have it all being so serious, because people take it serious. You'll go down. I mean, I went to C1s and even the
It's racing,
everyone's racing. It's super serious.
Well, that's what I said about
but a little bit more
certain like touring car drivers, genetic Supercup drivers. They can't go to certain circuits and test. Well, they can't actually take their car to a certain circuit before a race to test.
Yeah.
So that's doing something like that is a good way, as you said, to blow off steam, but get some testing on the circuit as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, it is just literally so much.
It's just seat time, isn't it? It's getting seat time. Yeah,
seat time, and it's exactly that. And someone said this, a pro actually said this. There was someone who approached me actually who races in GT3 actually, and he's kind of got a team, and he wants to get his junior drivers learning to race. And he said that he's going to build a couple of Enduro KA cars actually, and he's going to get his juniors learning, because you learn racecraft actually, because it's all so close. The differential between getting past someone and not getting past is the skill. It's the skill of the driver, and you sometimes get a drive.
With these cars you have to eke every single little bit of it.
It's really weird, because you have to be smooth, but sometimes you have to be aggressive to make a move stick and get past someone. And honestly, from racing and doing things with a lot of different cars of different differentials of brake horsepower, for example, these I think they teach you a hell of a lot more than people realise. You think that you're just going around in a little 69 horsepower car and it's just going to be like, and so easy.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong, when you're spectating it doesn't look.
You hear it and you see it.
You're just going slowly like that. It's like watching snails go by.
Yeah, you're looking them down the straight of like Snet, and then it's like, and you go, looking at the time. Oh, you're still there, and you can look up 3 or 4 times and they're still there. And they go past you. It's so quiet, but it's quiet, but it doesn't look fast. Actually, if you're in the car, you are on it. I mean, again, one of the examples, I said this to someone, and it's quite a hilarious one at the same time of being quite serious and cool. I was, when I raced at Spa last year in the C1 in the 24 hours, we had differentials of crazy weather as well. We had lightning, thunder, like hail, everything all in one race. And I remember at night time, it was raining and it was dark, and there was a differential of speed from cars, because there's 4 classes. There was a modified 2CV that had a bike engine. There was the modified C1s of Belgium, saying they were modified C1s, RC1s, and there was like near 2 CVs with just a cage, and that was it. And they were the slowest. We were the second slowest. The Belgium C1s were the third slowest, and then the bike engine 2 CVs were really quick. Yeah. So you had a differential of speed, so you were always having to think. And I was going down the bottom of kind of El Rouge, and just as you're hitting the bottom of the compression, you're actually doing 110 mile an hour. And there was one time I was going into, you kind of have to preempt and guess like what's about to happen. And there was a time where I knew that at the bottom of kind of the compression, because of you learn the differentials of everyone, you're like, right, I'm going to get to the bottom of this compression. Yeah. I reckon I can outdo all of these 3 other drivers that are going to go into this corner. I'm going to have to go really wide. This is going to be dangerous as budge, but I'm going to do it. Yeah. And I went left, and I'm like, and then literally you're 4 abreast at the bottom of the compression. I'm going wide. I come across, then you've got to wrestle. You've got to kind of get weight transfer from one side back over to the other. It's a little bit more ugly because you're understeering through it, but you know you can make it. Yeah. And then you're going through the compression 100, and then you start climbing up Kemmel, up the straight, and then all of a sudden it's like from 110, it's like 105, 100, 95, 90, 85, 80, and you're just slow, and you end up hitting the top of Kemmel at about 80 mile an hour, and you're kind of looking at people kind of like waving them as you're driving with them. It's hilarious, but like mental. But These kind of
How many
races
cars were there?
That was 110 cars around Spa Francorchamps. It was madness.
That sounds like carnage.
It was carnage, and like I say, the weather was the factor as well, and it was the tiredness. It was my first ever endurance race as well, 24-hour endurance race. I came out of the car after 20. It's the mental stimulation of how tired it makes you as well. I came in after the first stint, and my first ever experience in a 24-hour race car was round Spa in the rain, in the dark, at 1 o'clock in the morning, I think my stint was, and I came out of the car after a 2-hour stint, and if there was a video of me actually, and I barely could move or talk, and I'd come out of the car like a zombie. I was so tired. I came in, spoke to the missus, and I said, "This endurance racing ain't for me." I enjoyed it, but I thought I can't do it. It's too tiring.
Because what was it? 2 hours, isn't it? 2 hour stint.
2 hour stint, and then I came back out, and one of the guys didn't feel very well, and I think it frightened him a little bit as well. He came back in after an hour and a half, and he goes, "I'm not going to do no more racing. You're going to do the rest of my stints." To all of us, so we ended up doing 2 more stints each, which were 3-hour stints. So we did 2. But do you know what? I went out the second stint, and I think mentally you're prepared for it.
Yeah.
And then I done my second stint. I enjoyed it. I loved it, and it was brilliant.
Just not forget as well, doing your first ever 24-hour race on the spot on the spot.
It's a tiring circuit anyway. It's mentally challenging. It's the differential speed between cars.
And did you do much testing on it in the car or with
a little bit, but not much. But it never prepares you for a race, especially 24-hour race when you've got 110 cars around there. But it was a brilliant experience, and it's crazy because I'd done my 3-hour stint and I was like, yeah, I loved that, I really enjoyed it. And I did my third and final stint, 3-hour stint, and I came in, gave my car in, I saw all of my mates in the pit garage, and I was like, when are we doing this again?
Yeah.
I can't wait. And it's just,
it brings everyone together as well.
Racing is amazing.
Whether it's someone changing tyres or whatever.
Yeah, racing is amazing. It's so much fun. If you can do it financially, I'd say to anyone, do it, because it's the most amazing thing in the whole world. But it is hard. It's so expensive.
Yeah,
it really is. But I've got some good sponsors actually as well. But they give a little bit of money, but it all helps, and it allows me to race. Because without actually sponsors, I wouldn't get in a race. I wouldn't. Financially be on the race.
It's a shame really, because more people need to experience it. Like, for me, I haven't done any motor racing, I just do track days and stuff, so, but yeah, being around motor racing, it makes you want to be involved with it more.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
It gets to the point where you can only do it to a certain point.
Yeah, well, I always encourage and say to people, if you can financially, go for it. And there's, funny enough, on a car throttle post, someone was, because Alex actually from Car Throttle, they race in Enduroka.
Yeah,
so when I spoke to Alex, he's a lovely guy, and I love the channel, their channel as well. And I was speaking to him, and there was a lad who commented on one of Alex's posts really recently, and he was saying, I've got a KA and I wouldn't mind racing it, so I'm gonna look to race in this Enduro KA next year. And he's a young lad who's got a little KA, and I just had to, not put him straight, but I had to let him know realistically what to expect. And he goes, are these, I'm going to convert my little KA. And I was like, just so you know, and actually I'll tell you now, because obviously you're asking about how much it costs per round.
Yeah.
To build an Enduro KA, it's anything depending on how much you do yourself, and I've done a lot, for anything from 5 to 7k.
Wow.
Which is, again, it's not much, but to put 5 or 7k
into a KA,
it seems madness.
Yeah.
But there's no car on the planet that you can build to an MSA FIA spec to race for much less than that. So everything to kind of go racing for that first year is a killer, and it has smashed me financially.
Because with the Enduroka, you have to run a solo, don't you? But you have to have live data of throttle and stuff.
Yeah, so it was something I weren't really happy about, and I don't think a lot of people were, because we'd already budgeted for a certain thing, and all of a sudden we got told that we need a data logger that basically captures live data and RPM data. So we had to. The cheapest one was a £600 AM Solo DL2, which I ended up buying. Great bit of kit. That being said, OBD port, you can pop it into any car. Yeah. It's quite cool. You can transfer and take it into. And actually, I'll probably take it out on my Supra and things like that, and actually you can do 0 to 60 quarter miles and stuff, which is quite cool. So I'll take that to.
I think it's a way of them keeping it controlled, isn't it?
Without a doubt, they just want to kind of make sure they've kind of got a few people's balls in the vice to kind of go, do you know what? I'm going to make sure you don't cheat. And I like that, because do you know what? C1s, I'm sorry, I'll say it on camera, and I have already said it, people cheat. Every single championship, people cheat. My championship, people had more horsepower than me. My GT250 championship, people cheat. Yeah. And it happens a fair bit in motorsport. I'm not going to cloud the kind of motorsport and the racing world completely, because it's a small differential.
It's how blatant you make it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it like I say, it's a small percentage of people that do it, but that small percentage of people are all you need to ruin and really make a mockery of a championship, and it happens too often. And people try to police it. I think the MSV have got a very good way of kind of policing it in Enduroka, and I think they're doing a great job. And I think it's going to be a great controlled championship to be involved in. I think that's why I see it as better than the C1. And there's not much in it. The car feels kind of similar, but I do think this Enduroka is going to be an awesome championship to get involved in, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger. Yeah. On the website, it's 44 people registered for the actual championship. 26 was the first race. I think there's going to be 30, 35 for sure. I think it's netted, and I think it'll be full. I think for certainly for next year. So it's the C1s when they first started in their inception. The first race of the C1, there was 6 cars when they started their championship.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Enduroka 26, so, and now they're oversubscribed. So people want to do this form of racing. It's brilliant, and it's so much fun. So yeah.
Where do you think you're going to take your motorsport next? Obviously, I know funding is a huge barrier.
Yeah.
But are there any championships you've got your eye on and think, yeah, one day I want to do that?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I'm like anyone. I mean, I'm not getting any younger, but at the same time, I'm not old. But I started too late to kind of go anywhere that far. Although I do believe, and it's weird, anyone who's competitive and believes they're quick will always say this, but I always believe I was one of these lads. I think I kind of slipped through the net in the sense of I know I could have done very well. People told me that. I had professional instruction. People said that you could have gone far. But the problem is, and it's a really sad state of affairs, but it's reality. You'll know from seeing your friends, do it. You have to have a lot of money to race, and it's why actually, if you walk around a paddock, and I'm not griefing anyone for being or having a lot of money. I never have. Unfortunately, these days, racers and people who want to race and do well have to have a lot of money. So they need parents with a lot of money or friends in high places. That being said, you can kind of start where I am and you can still do very well. I mean, my aspirations, if I won the lottery or I knew someone who had ridiculous amounts of money, my friend kind of later, for example, he said, if I won the Euro Millions, I'd get you out in blonde plane GT and British GT, and we'd buy you this and we'd do this. I would love to race a Brit GT race. I'd love to kind of race in touring cars. Realistically, for me, I think I've started a little bit late. Not my fault, my own, because I karted from reasonably young. But I'd love to just keep tearing up slowly but surely and go into a higher state of kind of quality of race, but within the means of what I can financially do. I would love to race in, like what you were saying, Adam. I wouldn't mind a Ginetta race. I'd love to kind of give a Ginetta race a good kind of go. I'd love anything like a Brit GT or something like the endurance racing does appeal to me. Anything like that, TCR. If there was an outside chance, I mean, these championships are big money championships, so it's probably unlikely. But you never know. But I think as long as I'm having fun with what I'm doing, I'll always try and race year on year, and I'll continue to kind of try and do that. So
you said you got into karting about 17, was it?
Yeah, I kind of started when I was 15, 16, and I kind of bought a car, a little kind of 4-stroke at around 18 years of age. Okay. Raced in local leagues, and there was a couple of us who bought 4-strokes, and we went out and we raced, and we had a shoestring budget. We used to rock up to even these events, these local league events, and people used to come with their kind of Winnebagos, and then all of a sudden this cart would come out, electric, and it would come out like this, and we rocked up with this rickety old, two-tier kind of race trailer. It was like falling apart, all cracked tyres and everything like that. We could just about get to race meets. And we had what I typified, and we always knew this also let us know how good I think we knew we were, which is good. Patting myself on the back, probably a bit too much. But we used to go up to a championship race, and we used to go up against these people who had a lot of money, and they'd come out, with their fancy cars, and they'd bring out their gear sets and their tools, and they'd have about 100 gear sets to kind of change their gear sets, and you're allowed to do what you want.
Yeah.
And we had so basically you'd adjust your gear sets to suit each and every track, and you play around with it from your qualification and your practice and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we turned up with 3 gear sets. We had one for a little slow kind of tight circuit. We'd have a medium one for a kind of mid kind of circuit, and then we'd have a bigger one for a top speed circuit. So we had 3 gear sets. Me and Pete at the time, we were karting, we used to come first, second, third, nearly every single round.
Yeah.
We had 3 gear sets.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we were like, okay, we know we can race, but then it just got to the point where we couldn't afford it no more. So we could only do what we could do. So slowly.
Yeah, it's a big limit, because I know a lot of people would have got into racing because of money, which is no bad thing.
No,
and their level of racing hasn't been the greatest, but the more seat time they get, and because they've got the money to do so, you see them gradually progress, and it's crazy to see.
The world these days is full of what they call a gentleman racer, no doubt about it. And do you know what if you spoke to me 2 years ago, I used to trap about that, because it used to piss me off a little bit, and I'll be honest, because I used to be like, oh, checkbook Charlie, But since owning a team, and obviously all it is in the Enduroka team, and trying to find seats, or speaking to someone and going, right, we've got a seat, who fancies are going this, you've got a race licence, and then someone asks you how much it is, and they think you're going to say £200 or £300, and it's not, and they can't believe it. Yeah. And then the frustration of trying to get someone in the seat, because realistically, I'd love to fund, a mate or something like that, and give him a seat for the rest of it. I can't afford to, because I need to pay for the race fees, I need to pay for the tyres, I need to pay for the fuel. I'm not rich by any stretch of imagination, so I need financial input.
It needs to be realistic.
And I think that's why these days, unfortunately, race fees and everything else are going up, and that's why you are seeing more and more gentleman drivers that have a lot of money. And do you know what? Now I'm like, it is what it is, and fair play. If you've got the money and you're a guy with a lot of money, why would?
It's actually keeping motor racing alive, to be fair.
Exactly. And it just makes you realise that actually, when you say things like 2 years ago, in hindsight, you think about it now. Yeah. Exactly, I totally agree with that. Keeps motorsport going. I think motorsport has had a bit of a resurgence kind of last kind of couple of years, and I think it's really perked back up. And no, it's I love it. I say, as long as I can continue to race, I always will. So And then obviously I do a bit of car reviews like you guys as well.
Yeah, so I think because we're going to bore Aaron.
I thought I'd switch it up.
He's going to see him go falling asleep.
Yeah. So, and then obviously, like you guys, obviously I'm the same. I go to different media events, and then I also go try and speak to the manufacturers and get these cars to kind of borrow and try and live the dream, as they say. Which,
we won't speak too much about speaking to manufacturers because we've covered that already.
I'm happy to speak about anything. But I'm at that stage now where I'm speaking to manufacturers. I've been naughty and not good with email, and been busy with all kinds. With most of us got regular jobs as well. I'm very busy regular jobs. But I'm kind of at a point just now where I've been starting to get promised kind of press cars, which is good. So finally, just a few, but obviously that'll probably take a few months before it peters down, I suspect, if not maybe longer. But it's always a challenge trying to get cars and getting enough content on your channel, especially when you're doing. I'm doing 2 kind of reviews or 2 videos a week, Wednesday evening and Saturday morning. So it's quite hard. To be honest with you, in the last year I haven't struggled with content because I do a lot of vlogs as well about my racing, about tinkering with cars, whatever it may be. So to be honest with you, I'm normally got quite a few in the can. Well, not in the can, but ready to kind of So, like I say, try to live the dream and enjoy it while you're doing it. And it's certainly good fun. Certainly not easy as people think, but
Just to go back to motorsport, if anyone's watching this and wants to get into it, obviously money is a big thing, but what advice and guidance would you give to anyone looking to enter the fray of motorsport?
I think definitely do it. If you've got a kind of want and desire to do it, definitely go and do it. But all you need is, I think,
love.
As long as you, what's that?
Love,
yeah, you do.
All you need is love.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, Very true statement. Yeah. You kind of need that want and desire to do it, but realistically, you just need to go and get your race license. So you need a Go Racing pack, which is an ARD, and you go and do your kind of test, and then a medical, and then as long as you're reasonably competent. Basically, if you're I'd say the way I'd describe it is if you're a reasonably good, fast track day goer and you're confident, you will likely be able to race, and you'll condition and slowly work your way up to be a racer. If you've got that in you and you fancy it, go do it. Basically, a Go Racing pack and a test and a medical would probably cost you around £550.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, you get your licence, and then every year you have to renew that. But once you've got the licence, it stays with you. You just need to keep renewing that every year.
And how much is that?
A licence every year, a National B licence to renew is about £70. National A, once you've done 6 races or more, when you get certain signatures on your race licence, you get National A if you want it. It costs about £100 to renew, and then you can get International C, International D, International C, B, A, and then you can get.
Because obviously, when you first start racing, you have to have a novice badge on the back of the car.
Yeah,
is it six
races?
Yeah.
So yeah,
and
6 races.
You can do marshalling for a day, and that counts.
Yeah,
as
one of those. Yeah. And I think I've now got 24 white signatures, so we've done 24 races. It's crazy. I feel like I've been doing it for a while. So, but the butterflies never kind of go away. You always get excited, and that a little bit. It's not fear, but you get that excitement every time doing it.
Diving into a bit more personally about it. How do you, when you arrive, say to do testing, what's your feelings like? What do you feel? Do you feel nervous?
I think when you first race, it don't matter who you are, and I'm quite a confident person, quite a stern kind of person. But no matter how many track days you've done at that specific circuit that maybe you're turning up to.
Yeah, because a track day compared to a race,
it goes out the window. Door-to-door racing is different, completely different to track day racing, and you'll see it's much more nerve-wracking in the first instance. But you got to kind of try and relax as much as you can. I remember. Even still now, I don't overly sleep well the night before I race, but the first kind of 3-4 races, I'd sometimes not sleep the night before. I'd sleep half an hour, because it's a cross between a little bit of fear and a lot of excitement. You can't sleep.
Yeah, you're buzzing for the meeting.
So you're buzzing for it, and but then you've got to savour that. You've got to kind of harness it a little bit and kind of try and keep calm. I think surround yourself with mates. Try and bring your mates there, and that really calms you down, I find. And having a little team.
Yeah, you need people positive around you.
It's nice, but the moment you finish your first race, unless you're dead inside, if you watch my first race at Snetterton, I am literally, I'm shouting when I cross my. And actually, I got 2 first places in my first 2 races.
Oh wow!
Which is unreal. So I knew Snetterton really well. I did test the car quite a bit, but that was amazing. I didn't necessarily expect that, but it was unbelievable.
But even when you do testing, even if you do a load of testing, it doesn't really. I mean, it matters to some extent, but it's all down. It comes down to it on the day.
It helps a lot. Yeah. I honestly think if you're someone who hasn't, but I have seen this.
I mean, of course, you testing somewhere is better than not testing at all, isn't it? Really.
Well, I've seen people that have gone and got their race licences without even being a track day goer, and I can't believe it. I think they're nearly a liability. That's dangerous. Yeah. I wouldn't do that. One thing, if I was to say, if you're thinking about racing, go and do a shed ton load of track days. Go and learn a lot of different circuits and go and do lots of track days. You'll get bitten by the bug, and you'll be like, my God, I love this. And if you love that. Racing is just another level.
I've been fortunate enough to do quite a bit, so
Track days are amazing. It's controlled, and you get a few dickheads there every now and again and whatnot. But you are going to get that. But in general, track days are brilliant. It's just heaven for me, like track day and then racing. So
I'm going to Snetterton this Wednesday.
Yeah, you're same as me. So
it's like £200 for a whole day.
Yeah, and I'm the same. To be honest with you, it's financially I can just about do it, but I pretty much am at a track testing, doing something every other week. I'm at a track. It's how I've always been. It's like my money kind of. I don't buy loads of.
And I think that's the better way to. That's the better way to do it, because you're constantly. You're always in a seat, whereas you're not. You haven't got a long break from when you go into one meeting and to another.
Definitely. If you do a load of track days, you're going to be a little bit more calm.
Because the KA meetings are quite spaced apart, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. You've only got 6 meets throughout the day, throughout the year, and that is. I mean, most Some championships have around that, some have up to around 10. My Nippon only had about 6 or 7 as well, so it's actually the norm for me. But sometimes you have a fairly big gap between. But it's nice because in between those expensive race days, you can kind of ramp down a little bit. You can go on a test, which is a lot cheaper than a race day. So, my advice to anyone, if you haven't got that much money, join a championship that you can probably come in and out of, which actually in the Enduro Championship you can. You can approach teams, and because some teams are after,
have hire cars.
They hire them out, they rent the seat out, because I do that. We're full for the rest of the season now, but next year we will want a commitment from a couple of drivers, and actually I think we've got a young lad who's a karter, and he's wanting to go into full racing, and he's been a very competitive karter all around the UK, and he's going to hopefully do a whole season with us, and he looks like a good little racer. He's kind of in third, second and first, in kart, and he's going to do a whole season with us. So then we're going to try and get people in the seat. I think we're going to try and get more vlogger go kind of in influencers in the seat.
I can't stand that phrase.
I know, horrible word. It is a horrible word. I hate it too.
It's like a swear word.
But yeah, it is. I'm the same. I hate it. But yeah, no, we're going to try and get more vloggers and stuff like that.
No, I do like that because
I
mean, for what you're just talking about, like a young go-karter.
Yeah.
If they're in a circumstance where they don't have much money to get on the grid, getting them into the KA, I know it's not the most glamorous of cars to start racing.
That's it. Yeah, that's
someone of half to start moving with it.
Exactly. Do you know what? That's half the problem as well. Like getting someone in a KA is a funny thing because there is a little bit, and actually I noticed that with my videos. Actually, I do on my YouTube. They're not massively followed. People genuinely will see KA in the title and they think it's a joke. They're like, oh my god, that's going to be slow and so boring. And it's just so far from it, but it's getting people out of that kind of zone of thinking and chain of thinking that it's
like when someone says,
boring,
I don't like Kia. Why don't you like Kia? Because it's a brand. Well, what's wrong with a brand?
Yeah.
They make good cars.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think any time you can kind of get people out of that logic of thinking is a good thing. But like I say, if people should do some track days, get involved, and then if you feel you can kind of go to race, go and look to do it.
I imagine you've driven quite a few tracks now. What would you say is your favourite and why?
Yes, so I've got 2 favourites.
No, only have one.
I'm going to mention 2.
Just one.
I'm going to mention 2 because one of my friends goes, apparently still the Nürburgring isn't a circuit. But it is. I don't know. But
hang on.
Apparently, it's because it's a tire, so they say it's not a circuit. So I used to say, because when I first went to the Nürburgring, I'm like this, and I haven't been to the Nürburgring much. I've only done it twice. One was really rainy, the other one was kind of wet to rainy.
Yeah.
And I beat the 10-minute. Well, the first time I went round, it was really wet, and I still done a 10-minute 14.
In which car?
Wet, which is quite good in the Fiesta ST. And then I went back and it was a dewy morning, so the grip levels weren't perfect, but it was better, much better, and I got a 9.13, which I was really, really pleased. So, but I know I can get a lot quicker than that when it's dry, and hopefully I'll go back and I will.
Yeah.
I've done hardly any laps around there, but I went to the Nürburgring and I was like, oh my god, that track is just, if you get something wrong on that circuit, it is going to bite, and it is. And for that reason, you kind of have, if you're on it on a lap, it's a fear and fun factor, and it's so dangerous that it is a brilliant circuit. So Nürburgring is one of my favourite. Spa Francorchamps is definitely my favourite. It's kind of got everything or nearly everything the Nürburgring's got, but it's a bit more controlled and not so crazy. But still can bite and it's still quite dangerous. But I think the love for me is the fact that I've raced there. To be able to say that I've raced at Spa Francorchamps is just unbelievable. And after doing 24 hours round in that and effectively doing 8 hours worth of racing around Spa Francorchamps, definitely Spa Francorchamps is my favourite. So
how much did that cost you? That meeting in Spa?
My seat was £1,500 for Spa, and
to do 8 hours worth of racing.
Yeah, and do you know what? It should have been more. Actually, I did that with one of my sponsors, Andy Burton from Burton Power, and Andy's a really good friend. And to be honest with you, I don't think it'd normally be £1,500. I think it'd be about £3,000.
Wow.
Even still, £3,000 to do what?
8 hours racing.
It's 8 hours of racing.
Exactly. It's a lot of money, but I would say to anyone, do things like that. Even if you haven't necessarily got a lot of money and a lot of surplus money, save some money and do like an endurance race, even if it costs you a bit of money, or find someone that can subsidise a little bit out because they're maybe a friend or someone who's got a cheaper seat, and just do it because it just stay with you for the rest of your life, and those kind of things just stay with you.
So I'd love to go into that world, but just, you know, as we all know, and you're watching at home, it's just so much money. You know, genuinely, you know, in anticipation of you coming, I've thought about, you know, I've played about with what if I get a second MX-5, just a clapped out one. It's probably rusty, but what if I just get one and just use it for racing? And so it's a lovely romantic idea, but it's like, I wouldn't be able to afford it.
It's not even money, it's just it's life, isn't it? What you've got forward, like you're moving into a new place.
It is. I think you have to. I would say act your wage. I would say that, but I don't. But then I spend my money on different things as well. And do you know what? Most of my money goes on my racing. So
I'm sure it does.
By the standards of me saying I race, I don't by no means think that I've got a lot of money. You know, but I'm a normal guy with it.
At the end of the day, you work hard.
Yeah, I've got a good job, but you know, a lot of my money, a large percentage goes on racing. All I'd say to someone like yourself is, Aaron, if you fancy doing something like that,
you've got to be committed.
Just keep. I'd honestly say, you know, do it. Not do it now, but just at some point in your life, I suspect you'll be able to do it. Your channel's growing. Hopefully, it'll continue to grow the way it's growing, which I think it will. And then hopefully, you'll start to get a good amount of money in for your YouTube and whatnot. And I think you'll deserve that. And put some money aside for racing. Go racing with you know, a team and maybe build a relatively budget build and go and do it. You can go something like that MX-5 probably in MSV track day trophy, and that'd be quite cool.
Yeah.
You're like £300-400 a race.
So you don't need race license like that, do you? Those track day ones.
I don't
really?
think you're right. Yeah.
So
it's really random. It's a bit like time attack.
Javelin do something like it as well. Javelin track days. They do like it's a race.
Sprint, isn't it? Or what is it, a race?
It's like a series.
Okay, yeah.
It's not a championship or anything like that. But yeah, you can race as if you're in like a normal race.
Yeah.
But you don't have to have a race license.
Yeah, something like that. So there's definitely ways to do it.
It's like different classes. So obviously the type of engine you got.
Don't get me wrong. I'm tempted, seriously tempted. But for starters, I need to do more track time. I've done a few track days, but not that many. So how many have I done? Actually, it's actually quite limited. So before I'd even give it serious thought, I'd want to do get more track time. So I've done Snetterton. I've done. How many times have I done Snetterton? I've only done that once. That was in my Ibiza. I did Cadwell Park in my Ibiza. Fantastic. I love Cadwell Park.
We're racing there this year.
I did Alton Park with.
What? Okay. Really?
I did Alton Park with BMW. So do you know? Because you went after I went. So I went to that event. When you went, was it that? Was it
Bedford?
Was it Bedford they did it at?
It was Bedford, yeah.
See, when I went, they did. And I'm sure I've done another track day, but I can't think of.
Liddon Hill.
Yes, Liddon Hill in the Caterham. Liddon Hill's an interesting one because you look at it, you sort of look at the not floor plan, but you sort of look at the map of it. You think that's actually quite an easy track, but it's actually more technical than you think it is.
There's so many tracks that are like that.
It looks to be such a basic track, but obviously you've got the difference in camber, and it is quite a technical circuit.
That's like Brands Indy. You look at it from afar. You got
Brands Indy's tiny, but it's a massive technical circuit.
It's like Clearways, for example. You think, you just turn. It's a right bend, but it's not. If you take it a certain way, you get understeer.
Brands is reasonably easy to learn in the sense of where you need to go within reason, but mastering the differential between getting those extra tenths. It separates the men from the boys actually, and people don't realise it. It's brilliant, and do you know what, we're blessed with circuits in the UK because we've got some fantastic circuits.
It's crazy.
In the UK.
I don't live that far away from Brands Hatch. Yeah, I've never been there.
That's madness.
I know it's madness.
Mind you, do you know what? I was because I done loads of karting, and I was the same. I got into this pigeonhole thing, and some of my mates said it as well. And I used to go. My local is Snetterton. but all I did was Snetterton. I went for 3 years, and all I did was Snetterton. And mates are like, go to all these other circuits. And then I went to Brands, and I'm like, and then you get blown away. It's like, oh my God, it's amazing. And then you end up starting to go to every circuit. So yeah, I would say to you, just go to more circuits. But don't, I mean, maybe build one. Stick to kind of a plan and maybe.
I'm tempted, but obviously convincing the missus is a different matter. Particularly as, like Chris said, I'm moving property, so it'd be the sort of thing that, you know, I'm 29 now, I'm bloody 30 next year, but it'd be the sort of thing I'd probably look to do in my sort of early 30s.
These sort of things as well. It's easy to get carried away.
Yeah,
it is.
For me, it's better to plan anyway. I mean, if you've got it in your thought and your logic and you want to do it, I think just continue.
I'd like to do it at some point, but need to get settled in my new place at some point. You know, my wife and I will start a family. So obviously, once you start a family, that's obviously that takes priority, understandably.
You have to plan within reason, or have like a kind of some kind of plan, but at the same time, plans can change, and if plans change, I think as long as the logic and the thought is in your brain, and if you want to do it, you should at some point say to yourself, you know what, the moment I can financially do that, I'm going to go for it, and you should. And I'd certainly, if you ever want any kind of tuition, I don't testify to be like the best driver in the world or anything like that, but I've got some experience. So I'll, if you ever want to come out with me, come to a track and do some track days with me, and get some kind of, I can give you a little bit of tuition, kind of make you a little bit faster and stuff. Yeah,
that'd be good.
I'm always game for that. So
that's good. Well, once my MX-5 I've got now, once that's, not I wouldn't say track ready, but it's just a few bits I need doing. The cam belt's overdue, so I don't want that to potentially go exactly on track. And it's just a few small odd jobs. I need to fit the roll bar as well. So once that's track ready, hopefully that'll be relatively soon, I will do a few track days. I don't want to do too many track days in that car. Particularly as, it's not the lowest mileage example. It's done almost 90,000 miles, which isn't that much, but obviously track days that can be quite brutal on a car.
So on a hot day, you can tax a car.
So I do want to do the odd track day in my MX-5, but not that many. So when I do, obviously, because it could be good for all three of us to meet up at a circuit.
Definitely. I'm going to ask you a geeky question now.
Yes.
See if you know it.
Go on.
You're an MX-5 nut. Is the and I don't know this actually, I need you to answer it for me. Is the MX-5 motor an interference motor or a non-interference motor? It's quite a technical question.
Non-interference.
Okay.
So
if your cam belt snaps, you're going to be, not always, but you might be okay.
Yeah.
Basically, if you don't know whether you do know, but if a car runs an interference or a non-interference motor, if a cam belt snaps, basically
the valve
train can be marrying up with
So basically, if it's an interference engine, if the cam belt snaps, obviously. Thank you.
I thought I'd throw a question, a technical question.
So if it's an interference engine, if the timing belt snaps, obviously that affects the timing for the valves and the pistons. And if that happens, basically the pistons will just smash into the valves, and that's game over for your engine. If it's non-interference, like the MX-5, the worst that will happen is you just lose power, don't you? So the engine, obviously, the engine wouldn't be damaged per se, would it?
It can do some damage. I think the thing is,
but it wouldn't be catastrophic.
Yeah, I mean, you've always got to kind of allow for it and just say you're better off not doing it. But it's a nice kind of thing to kind of think about. Funny enough, when you modify a car, that's why a lot of people don't necessarily know. But you can change your cams and a valve train set up on a certain car, and you can go from having a standard car that actually effectively is non-interference, and you can all of a sudden add cams and different valve train modifications, and you could turn the car into an interference. If you don't know that, and you have a cam belt snap, and it's going to result in massive problems with the car. But it's just a bit of a kind of kicky thing. It's fine. But I'm impressed. That's good.
That's good, mate. I'm surprised. I'm gobsmacked.
Test. Aaron passed the test. No, I like it.
I'm ready for motorsport.
You passed. You're allowed to race.
But no, it is something that I'd love to do, but obviously it's a lot of money. But I think it's very, very tempting.
It is hard financially. It's just a case of you can do it as and when. It's realising when you can kind of do it. And first year for me with this Enduroka has cost me quite a bit of money, but year 2 should be a lot cheaper.
Because you've already built it. Because obviously you built the car, you've obviously outlaid a lot of money at the start, so you'd always feed it.
Yeah, the second year, if you're gonna kind of rent out seats, you can potentially subsidise or pay for your own seasons racing. I think next year that's effectively, hopefully, what will happen. My racing will be paid for effectively by the seats I've sold, which is great, and then we can kind of sell a few more seats and potentially make a little bit of money. You never make a lot like that way, but you'll make a little bit, so it's great, and then pay for your own racing, which is brilliant.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's a business, isn't it? So, as much as it's fun and you've got to see it.
That's it. You have to.
Because if you don't, then you won't be running it.
If you were paying hardly anything or selling the seat for hardly anything, you're going to need deep pockets, and at the moment I haven't got deep pockets, so deep enough, I suppose, just about to go racing, but definitely not deep. But no, it's hard. I think if you've got that want and desire to do it, go for it. When it's right. Awesome. We should definitely do some track days.
Yeah, definitely.
Ask about it.
Well, I'll see you Wednesday anyway, so I'm sure we'll be doing some bits then.
What are you going to be in?
I'll be in my Civic, mate.
So you're going to hopefully see a little Enduroka go past.
Well, mine's getting
if I beat him in Enduroka,
there'll be something wrong with me, definitely.
You can laugh at it. Comments in the comment section and laugh at that. No, it shouldn't happen. They're actually the car is actually surprisingly fast, and it covers Snetterton surprisingly quick.
Because you're doing 200, aren't you, on the race?
Yes, and we'll obviously be doing 300 on the testing.
Because you don't obviously get the infill bit.
So once you know the 300, you know the 200. But it's sad that we're only doing 200 because you lose a lot of you lose all the infield. The infield's cool.
I love the 300.
It's great. So
but imagine if you did 300 in the K8s, it'd probably take a year to go around.
We've done big courses, but it would take a while to get around. But I still think it's a shame. I suspect it's because MSV are going to be letting out the inside. There'll be some sprint racing or something going on in the infield. I suspect so. MSV need to make a bit of money, so why not? Why not?
Jonathan Palmer's back pocket.
Yes.
Getting bigger in it.
Yep, definitely is.
But we're going to shoot now. But last question, Aaron, you asked the last question because I feel you haven't done much today.
I didn't have a question in mind, but because the thing is, I don't know whether to make it a motorsport question or I think we should stick with motorsport, and the answer could potentially be a long one. But what is your favourite form of motorsport to watch?
That's easy, if I'm honest, and it's British touring cars. BTCC.
Really?
100%.
So I was really expecting you to say Formula 1.
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's the cliche thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suppose it is,
F1, if you're there...
They're disappointed with this season so far.
Do you know what, for probably the last 4 seasons, realistically, I couldn't say that I've really followed F1 properly. I always look at the results.
I watch it every weekend when it's on, but I've tried to watch every race this season, and I have actually this year watched every race, but they've been dull still. And you get the odd race which is good, and by and large it's not very good. No, for me, British Touring Cars BTCC is definitely my kind of favourite. My missus actually works for Laser Tools, and I support Laser Tools, which is the Mercedes A-Class with Aidan Moffat. So I was going to ask how you got how you've been.
So we kind of slowly got to know Aidan and his family, like when he was about 16. And then it's been 3-4 years following the team, and we went to kind of hospitality, and we just got on really, really well with the family. And before long, probably the last couple of years, we've been probably what I'd say is fairly close friends with the family, and to the extent we went down to their house on the Knock Hill round, and we went to Knock Hill, and we went out with the Moffats, and we're really, really good friends with them, and they're lovely, lovely people. We go and meet them, and so we're avid British Touring Car and Laser Tools team racing fans. So BTCC for me, just for the close racing and the mad, crazy kind of close racing, battle scars, and for me it's just
like the whole atmosphere. Because obviously I was around it quite a bit last year with Adam in Janettas, because obviously I raced alongside. But the environment, all the trucks, all the spectators, it is a wicked weekend. Really good. Lots of racing as well. You got the Corvette, you got the Porsches, you got
I don't know. They don't. They've changed
Clios, they're changing up next year to mini challenge.
Because they don't have
cars.
the Jetta Junior cars anymore.
They come in sometimes.
Yeah,
And you've got the
sometimes,
normal Genettas, and you sometimes have Formula F4s. Yeah, you're right. Formula 4. Yeah, you just get a lot of racing all in one day, and touring cars is just brilliant. 3 races in one day, always pretty close. A lot of different, winners. They always kind of change it up and make sure that kind of cars are, reasonably close to each other.
Yeah.
And it's just always so good to watch. I think without fail, every race meet is very, very fun to watch. And I am a massive sucker also for British DT and Blancpain GT endurance racing. Do like that, and I do like watching a 24-hour race. Not all of it. I'm one of these people that tries to.
Yeah.
I'll sleep for 4, 5, 6 hours and watch most of it, and catch up with it. But I love a good 24-hour race as well. Like
so I'm a big fan at the moment of world touring cars. To be fair.
Yeah,
they've got that's where you've got the super pro drivers.
And unfortunately, the weird thing is not many people do watch them. They haven't got that much of a following, and actually, if you go to you see the circuits, they're empty. No one goes to watch them, which is a hell of a shame. They've not been marketed in the right way, I don't think. But yeah, I try to watch a little bit of world endurance. I think it's not like I relate to the local drivers, but I do like the kind of BTCC kind of roster and who's racing on that. You've got the usual kind of suspects and still the old boys still racing. Collard, Matt Neal.
Is British touring cars the most spectated motorsport in the world? I think.
Yeah, I think it is.
I thought NASCAR was.
I think it's NASCAR.
It's spectacular.
I think it's NASCAR F1, then British touring cars, but I think of kind of.
Well, I mean in the world, so I mean the UK.
Yeah, British-based motorsport by a long way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It shows if you go to any other kind of UK circuit and you watch anything like that.
But if you think it's as you said, the third most watched motorsport in the world, that's quite crazy considering it's a niche national sport.
There's loads of good races. To be honest with you, I'm a motorsport nut and I will watch nearly anything, but I am going to Brands Hatch next month because the DTM's there. And that is going to be unbelievable. If you don't know what DTM is, DTM cars are basically, they are F1 cars basically with a road going chassis shell on them. Yeah. They are basically in
DTM, that's like the German touring cars, isn't it?
They're nuts. They're like 600 horsepower.
And they weigh like next to nothing.
Apparently 800-900 kilograms space frame chassis, and they've got massive aero, and they are F1 cars underneath. The sound of them are unbelievable, and I'm going to go watch that at Brands next month. Can't wait. So, but love motorsport. Love going to watch racing if I'm not racing myself.
Yeah.
BTCC.
Definitely.
Love it.
Marvellous.
Well, look, thank you very much for joining us, mate.
Yes, thank you, Alex.
No, it's been a pleasure.
It's been fantastic.
Like I say, hopefully we should try and do more stuff in general. Really.
Yeah, that'd be good.
We should all get to the track, have a laugh, and maybe we should try and do a drive-out video as well. We'll get a car and go and do a bit of a little road trip somewhere.
Believe it or not, even doing them sort of things is money.
Big time,
crazy.
And everyone's got so much on as well. It's so hard to do, but. Yeah, we should try and, whenever we can, we should definitely try and make do some stuff. Definitely a track day. Although I'm going to see this bloke on Wednesday.
It'll be interesting, wouldn't it? It'll be fun.
Funny, it was so funny if the Enduro car comes flying. Shouldn't happen.
No, it shouldn't.
If not, I'll get in that car and I'll go, what are you doing, boy?
But
no, it should be good fun. Can't wait.
But no, really appreciate you coming on. It's the 3rd episode. Gone crazy, isn't it? 3rd episode already.
I know.
So, as I said, if you would like to see anyone specific on the show, please do leave in the comments below. But other than that, again, I say it too much. Thanks for coming, mate. Really appreciate it. And until next time, take care, guys.